I did invite a whole bunch of people, and it was at Jake's house, and I used to hang out there all the time, and it's kind of like, hey, we're going to use your spot to have a rager. But the cops came, that shit got serious quick. Like gang task force jumped over the wall, guns drawn. Some people were like, what the fuck? Everyone's like down, and some people were like, what the fuck? These just drinking, like, I mean, some people are 28 years old, dude. Like, where I'm just having a beer, like, I can't get in trouble for this. That's what happened to me. They started breathalyzing everybody at the front door, and they just would take the little sticks and they were fucking just throwing them. So there was like 50, 80 breathalyzers all over the front yard. So I'm just being a smart ass, and I'm out there like, who's gonna pick all this shit up? And they're like, not our problem. Just being dicks from the get go, And then I was kind of being sassy back and forth, and they were like, hey man, just calm down, because I was kind of taking responsibility. I was like, I'm the homeowner. What? Just let me know what we got to do. We'll get everyone out of here. I was trying to be cooperative, but also being like a smart ass at the same time. And then eventually I said something to this girl cop, like smart ass about, like, I'm texting her daughter or something, I was like, I'm just letting your daughter know the party's over. And I went to, I was sitting down on the curb, and she kicked the phone out of my fucking hand and busted my nose. My nose started bleeding. I'm like, what the fuck? So then I stood up, and the cops saw it, and they were like, oh, like, she shouldn't have done that, So then I started talking more shit. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm bleeding now? And they kind of calmed me down.
Because I remember, didn't she get in trouble for that or something?
Yeah, like, eventually the cops reported themselves. But so then they kind of, everyone's kind of gone. There was like 10 of us still inside. Then I'm sitting inside, and I light up a cigarette, and one of the cops is like, put that cigarette out. I'm like, dude, this is a private residence. Like, we're all cooperating. It's not illegal to smoke a cigarette. I'm not smoking a joint right here. He's like, put it out. I'm like, fuck no. And then he like reached for it, and like I turned, and then they just fucking all grabbed me, put me to the ground, knees, face or foot on my back and shit. They actually cuffed me, but real loosely. I don't know. I wasn't even fighting the whole time too. I'm saying I'm not resisting. I'm just smoking a cigarette. 4 cops beat me up, cuffed me. They just throw me outside. They're like, just go sit out there for a while. So I'm like out there, and then Dale, I don't know if you were in the car, but I know Dale for sure.
No, I wasn't, but...
And I don't know if it's maybe Rosemary or somebody, but there's like 3 people in the car, and they're like, Scott. And I fucking had the cuffs on. I got up and ran and got in the car with the cuffs on. And they were loose enough where I was able to like... Slip them out, but it did cut my wrist up a little bit. So I got out, had
his cuffs.
PD's cuffs. And like 2 weeks goes by, I get a phone call, and it's Mesa PD they're asking me questions about the night of the party. And I'm like, I'm not talking to you guys. You guys fucking beat me up. Like, I don't fuck you guys, And they're like, well, no, this is someone that was a police officer that was there said it was handled poorly. So we want to find out
what really happened.
Like, who was asked, like who was being out of line. So they kind of talked me into like going there. And at the end of the conversation, they're like, we can pick you up. I was like, I'm not telling you where the fuck I live. I'll fucking come to you, I'll take the bus. I felt like I was like a secret agent. I was like, rode a bike somewhere, got on the bus, fucking walked.
Did they ask about the cuffs?
Oh yeah, so that was the very end of it. They're like,
because they probably wanted those
interview
cuffs.
We want to interview you and just get the full story. And I was like, all right. And then at the very end, he's like, and if you have those cuffs, do you mind bringing them with you? And I was like, we'll see about that, whatever. But when I went to talk to him, dude, I showed up in all absurd gear. Because they thought we were like a gang. Not even close to that. But I had an absurd hat, absurd hoodie. And I showed up there like, what's up? And but they were cool. They were like lawyers, professional. They recorded everything. I told them my whole story, and I was being like polite about it. I was like, I respect the cops. Like, I've always been scared of them. Like, I don't want to get in trouble. But then after that night, I'm like, fuck that. It's abuse of power. And that led to a whole bunch of other shit. But
there's a lot of stuff that goes on. Especially before then, everyone didn't have these clear cell phones to take videos and all this stuff. So it was like the Wild West, they're kicking phones out of your hand, slapping you around. I've been there.
So it did give me a little, I did like that. At least someone that was there
taking responsibility,
reported that and got back to him. So long story short, they wanted me to pretty much do that same routine like 3 or 4 other times. And then I might have to go to court and then have to do that in front of court. Yeah, because looking back on it, I probably could have got a settlement. Like, I could have got paid.
Yeah, they were probably worried about that.
I remember my dad was so pissed off because he was like, your name's in the paper. Because I don't know if it's just like absurd or it might have been my actual name.
Well, yeah, because I remember there was an article that came out in the paper and it had her picture.
Yeah.
The cop that did that to you.
When I went there, they had a book of all these different photos, you know. All the guy cops look exactly the same. There's like a short hair, you know, clean cut. I'm like, those are all the same person. That's the girl for sure that kicked the phone in my hand.
Yeah.
You know? It was because she, you know, she's a woman out of like
stands out.
Yeah. And then she got in trouble, you know, desk duty or whatever. And that was the article about like, I don't know,
just her getting in trouble. Went down and
then I remember reading some of the comments on the article, just talking shit like, these gangster wannabe pussies and all this shit. I wasn't trying to be tough or nothing. I just got beat up for smoking a cigarette, you know? I'm not trying to be a gangster wannabe.
Right.
But I remember my dad was so mad. He's like, your name's in the paper. It's fucking disgraceful. And like, everyone was like I was an embarrassment to the family.
Right.
And I just got out of like living in Prescott, like getting my shit back, my life back together.
Right.
I was like, this is...
you're like, this is crazy.
That's how these little things can happen. And someone's life can take a turn just by one little instance like that.
That's very true, yeah.
Want to pull a fast one. Next, never get no space up in this. Hit 'em up, spit gold bars in 3D. Even if I tie one on that night hard. We don't ride and paint a fucking trick and work and drive. Cook and sleep and dream and make a vibe and stay alive. Trying to ride, coincide, looking from the other side. What a brother gotta do to make it all vibe.